Okay, as we mentioned in the past segment, we have Peggy McColl, author of Viral Explosions, and we are excited because we've been talking, Peggy, about how women can grow their business online.
And joining us, and she's in Canada. Peggy, can you hear us?
I sure can.
All right, fantastic. I found your book, and I love your book.
Wonderful, thank you.
Viral Explosions. This isn't your first book, however, right?
No, it's my 7th book.
It's your 7th book. You're a very busy lady up there in Canada.
Well, I have a ghostwriter.
Uh-huh.
Oh, so that helps.
It definitely helps.
All right, so our show is about helping moms either start or grow a business online. Where should women start when they think about, when they have a business idea or they want to start or grow a business? Where would you recommend that they even begin to start?
Well, I think it's important to start with something that they absolutely have a passion for.
Yes.
We just were saying that.
And that's where I started. 8 years ago is when I started marketing online. And what happened was, and really what motivated me, was being a mom, because to me it's the most important role that I have in my life. And so 10 years ago I found myself unemployed. I had been previously working for a .com company. They became a .bomb company. And so here I was unemployed. So I got the idea to write a book. So I wrote my first book and self-published because it was a faster way to bring it to the market. Well, I had 3,000 copies of a hardcover edition of my book sitting in my dining room. And I couldn't use my dining room table. I had managed to rack up a whole lot of debt, blew through my savings, and I was a single mom who was taking care of her son, and I had to figure out how to start generating revenue, or they'd be taking away not only the books in the dining room, but the dining room furniture too. So I thought, you know what? I can reach people online. I did not want to be a mom who was vacant from her son's life. I wanted to be here for my son. And so I thought, you know what? I can learn how to effectively market on the Internet. I don't have to leave the comfort of my home. And so that's really where it began. So for any woman who's looking at generating some business, you know what? I really think it has to come from a level of passion, that you've created some kind of a purpose for you, and this is also really key, is you've got to recognize that there's a need out there in the marketplace that people are willing to pay for to have it fulfilled. Those are really, really important parts. So,
well, Peggy, just as you mentioned, this is Mary, just as you mentioned that it's passion, but it also can come from a life circumstance that she's trying to cure, like you were trying to do for yourself.
Correct.
So they don't have to go out and try and uncover it from some rock.
Right,
Just
absolutely.
look at your life and what you're doing and your circumstances.
Yeah, that's right. That's what my first book's called On Being the Creator of Your Destiny. It's out of print right now. And so this book was basically what I had used in my life to create, and of course what I had done also to destroy certain things in my life. But you know what? It was a simple understanding that I came to know. And I thought, I want to help other people. So that desire to write a book didn't come from a place of, oh, how can I create a bestseller? It was from, how can I help others who may have a similar problem or a similar challenge to what I had, because negative emotions can be very, very painful. So I wanted to help others get out of pain, because that's what I did for my own life.
Well, and I think that's really key, that if you go into something thinking that, if you don't write a book thinking you want to write a bestseller, you write a book. Because, I mean, if you go into it thinking you're going to write a bestseller because you just want to sell a bunch of copies, then you really lose the focus of what the book is supposed to be about. And nobody wants to buy a bestseller just because it's a bestseller. People want to buy books or hear your message or your product or your service because it answers questions for them.
Absolutely, that's it. And you know what? I really think we need to speak our truth. And when you are a mom and you're trying to bring a service or a product to the Internet, to the marketplace, it needs to come from integrity. Now, I'm not saying you can't bring a product to the marketplace and not make money off it, because here's what I believe about a business. If you're in business and you're not generating revenue, you will quickly be out of business.
That's right.
As a mom, we also have to think clearly and use our common sense to realize we've got to generate revenue so that we can pay ourselves, which is important because we've got to take care of our family, and also so that we can put back into the business, reinvest in our business so that we can find ways of bringing more value to the marketplace. That's what we've got to be constantly focused on as a business person, is how can I bring more value to the marketplace.
Well, and Mary and I always are saying to Peggy, and maybe you understand this from moms too, moms have a real tough time saying, I deserve to be paid.
Yes, they do.
Why is that? Why do you think that is? We think we have our own answers, but what do you think about that?
I think it's one of the biggest challenges that moms are faced with, is because it comes from a self-worth issue sometimes. It comes from a lack belief sometimes. You know, you guys talk about beliefs and the power of beliefs, and I love your messages that you have on your show as well, you know, your little minute messages. And, you know, there was the quotes I've seen, you know, Walt Disney talking about the, you know, the importance of following your passion and having the courage to take action. And that's so critical. So we have to pay attention to what our beliefs. And so it's pretty easy to determine if we have a belief around lack of either self-worth or lack of abundance that's out there in the universe or worthiness, when we can take a look at what our results are. And if that's there, then let's pay attention to it. And let's do some things that can change those beliefs so that we do start to attract that which we deserve and that which we desire.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Well, and a lot of women want to make a difference in the world for their families, their children, and they want to go into business. So we're always trying to give them ideas on how they can, as you mentioned, revenues first, expenses later.
Right.
You know, because you can do this, create a business, grow an email list, you know, pretty much on little or no budget.
Right, that's true.
So do you have any other critical tips, especially for women who are starting a business and maybe those who are kind of into it and they're realizing, I don't know if I'm doing this right?
And just so you know, Peggy, we only have 1 minute left in this segment, but we are going to keep you over into the next segment because we do want to get a lot of tips. But if you want to go ahead and start with some of those first steps.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. One is that realize there's a lot of things that are free online right now. So, for example, you want to look at generating some revenue from your area of expertise, you could offer a teleseminar series, low cost on something like that. You could use a service such as freeconference.com, www.freeconference.com. You can book conference lines, conference calls, where you can get 150 people calling in where you're presenting, and there's no charge whatsoever. freeconference.com.
That's a great tip. We use that, and it does work. If you can even do a free one at first and then charge for the next ones. Okay, Peggy, stay with us. We love this content. We're going to be right back with more on Momstown Live.